See this, right?
It says go.
Okay. So you're going to go live. You can just talk because we don't have our helper here.
Hello there. This is...
No, not yet.
Oh.
Oh, we are live.
Yes.
Sorry about that.
We are. It said go on the laptop. So.
Okay.
Hello, my name is Paul J. Bennett, Canadian fantasy author, and this is our live stream, and I am joined today by my wife, Carol, who is my editor, publicist.
And double duty today.
And on doing double duty today, not to mention my wife, of course, and the secret to my success.
Aw, that's very nice of you.
So today we're going to have a little chat about a few things and answer questions as we normally do on our live stream. So if you're joining us, welcome. If you're watching us after the fact, also welcome. And hopefully we can answer your questions, whether you're a writer or aspiring writer or just a reader, or you just want to know more about fantasy topics in general. That's basically what we're here for. So we're going to play fast and loose with the rules. We're not going to really have too much.
We don't have any rules.
We don't have it. Our rule is we have no rules.
Yes, no rules.
So we have a couple of topics to talk about until questions arise, and then we will take those questions as they come.
We do have someone coming for future streams to help us so that I don't have to manage the stream and talk. They may occasionally not be here, which is one of the nights tonight that they're not here, but it will make it a little bit easier for me. Down in front of us, I don't know whether you can see her. That's our mascot, Hazel.
Yep, she's on the camera there.
She's on the camera. She is a Basset Hound, we think, Dachshund mix. Last week she was sitting on my lap. Apparently today she wants to lie down here, but you may see her come sit on my lap at some point tonight.
She's exhausted.
Yes, we want to say hello to, my apologies, Miette Thread. They said hello to us. Hello.
Hello.
Your name's hard to say. Joe24 said that you mentioned you play RPGs. Have you ever played Warhammer 40K?
Years ago, I have a copy of Warhammer Rogue Trader, which was the original Warhammer 40K rules.
Hey, don't say one I don't have.
I don't think I have the book anymore, so don't look for it. There's Warhammer Fantasy. That's Fantasy Battle, though.
Oh.
So there's Warhammer Fantasy role-playing game I ran for quite a long time. There's also Fantasy Battles, which I've done battles in. I have not gone into the 40K universe as far as miniatures go because I've already spent so much
on the Reich
time and that's Warhammer Fantasy.
Okay.
I've spent most of my time developing a fantasy army, so I don't really want to go sci-fi and start from scratch.
You know, I think next week we'll clean up inside our studio and take people during the live on a tour of your painting area.
I don't want to show that off. That's a messy paint station.
You know what? It's real life.
Maybe we'll just bring a table out and I'll put some miniatures on it and show people.
It doesn't matter if it's messy. We'll tidy it up a little bit, just a little bit. We play a lot of role-playing games. You can't see them because they're behind us.
Yeah.
When we have someone with us, they'll bring the camera and they'll show you. But I was going back there. I think, interestingly enough, Paul and I met playing role-playing games.
That's right. So in actual, did we meet at Fanshawe?
We did,
Gaming Club?
Yes.
So in London, Ontario is called the Forest City. And there was a group of gamers called the Forest City Gamers who used to meet I think it was every Sunday.
Yes.
At Fanshawe College. Now, Fanshawe College back in those days was a lot smaller than it is now. Now it's quite a sprawling complex.
Yes.
And so there was one room that we kind of rented as a club, and then people would go there and they'd play games, and there was enough room that there was usually 3 or 4 games going on at one time. So people play board games, role-playing games, and what have you. And that's basically how we met.
Yes.
Well, that's how we met. Technically, I met your brother previously.
Yes, you did.
Because he went to the club as well.
I think I'm viewing the live on TikTok.
Are you?
I have to pre-warn anybody on TikTok. We are finding that every 15 minutes, TikTok kicks us off the live stream. So just join back in. It takes me about 30 seconds to get back in. Hi, Dave S. Different Dave S.
Okay.
David S. is my brother. So Paul was wondering, what, your brother's on here? No.
Well, there's a problem with that. We were just literally talking about that.
I know it
It's kind of a
is,
funny-
but it isn't the same.
kind of a funny.
I have to say, Holy Q wants to know: has anyone from production company approached you about turning your books into a film or TV series?
No.
Not yet, but
Not
we are
yet.
very open, and we are agnostic to who would do it. We don't care.
Yeah, we've had discussion before about whether we think
Yeah.
these books would work better as a movie versus a TV show.
Well, to be honest, I think that Power Ascending would be really good as 8 epic movies. I don't know when anybody's done that.
8 movies. That's, well, Star Wars is 9, but with mixed receptions.
Yes, but this is and same with Frozen Flame. I think would be good as movies, but I honestly think the Heir to the Crown series would have to be like a TV series. It doesn't need to be 15 years. That might be a little bit too much.
Yeah, but you need to kind of do the
Right.
Game of Thrones kind of
Oh yeah.
thing.
I think you could put Servant of the Crown together with Sword of the Crown and mirror both Anna growing up and Beverly growing up as 2 separate stories and then have them meet. That would be very cool.
You could do that, yes.
I think that would work really well.
Or just do it, so tell the story chronologically instead of doing the flashbacks.
Yeah, but I mean, there are other movies out there, we'll say The Witcher, where you have 3 different timelines going. You don't know which is which.
Yeah, that's. I think the key would be you'd have to put the date on the screen so people know.
Well, that
Because
was
otherwise,
your personal peeve, yes.
yeah, because and I wasn't the only one. I saw a lot of people online going, "What the heck is going on?"
I mean, we watched that twice so that we knew what was going on.
Yes, that's right. Where you
that
watched
we're
it.
doing on. So I have a lot of goodies back here. As mentioned earlier, Paul is the author, and I do everything else pretty much: publishing, marketing, social media. But I was going to mention we have a website where you can buy his books. So I was just playing with this book right here. If you want a signed copy, then you get, and I'm not going to go through it all, but you get a whole bunch of stuff. I'll just hold it up. Like a pencil and bookmarks and a dice bag, because who doesn't need a dice bag?
Yeah, I mean, technically it could be a
Recipe card.
pencil case, but who uses pencils?
A map and other little goodies. Can't tell you everything. Something has to be a surprise.
That's right. And that's available on the website at pauljbennetauthor.com. And actually, you can also download a couple of free ebooks there.
You can
as
start
well.
any one of your series for free.
That's right.
Now, I had an interesting question today, Paul, because I do answer some of Paul's social media, so he can do more writing. That's how he's done 36 books. But anything I don't know the answer to, I will ask him. Paul, how many copies of Servant of the Crown do you think have been downloaded since you wrote it?
I don't know. I know we've sold over 250 million, 250,000.
million, we would not be here right now.
We'd have a much bigger house.
We'd have a much bigger house, and I'd have more than 2 dogs.
Sorry, 250,000 books total.
Yes.
So I'm gonna.
We've sold more than 250,000 books, but I'm asking you, we've actually sold over we've had over 500,000 books downloaded.
Okay.
But I'm asking you, because we give some away for free, but people still download them. How many do you think we've sold and given away free of Servant of the Crown?
Of Servant, I don't know.
157,000.
Oh wow! I did not think it was going to be that high.
I know.
That's
just
cool.
Somebody on socials asked, and I had to look it up. I was quite shocked, and
she gets to look at all the numbers.
I love numbers.
She just tells me when we reach benchmarks. And,
I love math.
And how many reviews do we have on?
Actually, so are we talking 5-star reviews or all reviews? Because those are 2 different numbers.
Well, I was just saying total reviews.
Oh, total reviews.
Just for Servant.
For Servant, I think we're at 2,400, 2,500.
Wow.
I have other things to do. I also do editing, but
it's got a nice rating on it too. So.
I think it's Goodreads is a 4, and I think it's a 4.1 on. Somebody can look it up while they're there. I can't do it. 4.1 on Amazon, and then as we get up to Save You the Crown, which is book 14, book 15, Paul's just finishing right now, it's a 4.7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's good. That means presumably my writing's getting better as I go.
My editing's getting better as I
Your
go.
editing's getting better as well.
It's funny. Now, we've been asked this many times. Would you ever go back and re-edit Servant? And by you, me. Would you want me to?
You know, obviously there are some choices I made in the first, like the story would remain the same.
Yes.
To be clear. But I think, you know, I had an overabundance of, instead of just saying said or replied,
Yeah.
like exclaimed or whatever. So I think I overused that a little bit, but it was my first book.
Yeah. So to be honest, I have gone back and started editing it 5 times,
Yeah.
but then something crops up.
And to be honest, our release schedule is pretty hectic.
Yeah, we did slow down a little bit for the end of last year. We actually have not released a book since August. We just needed to regroup, I guess is the best way.
We're also doing work on other things, right?
Yeah.
Like I was still outlining and preparing other series. The website was being worked on,
So
which took a massive amount of
It took a massive amount of time. We
effort.
have a graphic designer on staff, but I still had to go through and check everything. So we didn't just do one website. We did 2. So we did more of a website that's a wiki, so you can go in, and someone on socials today asked, they want to know the chronological order that you've written your books in. How do they find that out?
So if you go to pauljbennetauthor.com, there's a link up in the right-hand corner.
World lore.
World lore. And then that brings up a menu, and you can see a list of books in the order they were published, but also in chronological order.
Yes, there's 2 different ones. One's a timeline. And next week, we're going to get our helper to be able to throw up some of these things on the live, so you can see them live on the live.
That'd be cool.
Live on the live. Live on the live.
Unless you're watching it after it's been recorded.
Then it's not live. But so we created 2 websites. One website which has all the information, all the lore, which we are constantly updating. And then a second one, which is the books that you can buy. So you can buy the books, ebook, paperback, or signed paperback. And the more books you buy, the more you save.
And we should maybe point out that although they're 2 different websites, they're linked together. So you might not even notice you're going to a different website. You'll just notice if you look at the URL at the top, it'll say .store
instead of .com.
Instead of .com. So it's meant to look the same.
Yes.
To sort of hide the difference and to give it a sort of a common view, or whatever you want to call it.
I have some questions here, so we got busy. Hi, James Roach. He's one of our beta readers.
James.
He says, we're the dream team, which is very sweet, James. Thank you. We love being together. We've been married 40 years.
Yep.
41 in 6 weeks.
Yep.
Wow. Miath says, goodness, so many books. I'm impressed. I'm impressed too. This guy's amazing. Happy Button says, congratulations. That's a great accomplishment. Miath says he needs to get a few more of the various series. So far, I've gotten 3 of the Power Sending, Prequel, Temple, and Warrior. And for the Heir to the Crown, he's only got Crowns. I imagine he's only got Servant.
More than likely, yes.
But you can get Ashes free too.
That's for the Frozen Flame.
Yes. Oh, Miath also says, thanks for being one of the few gentleman authors who writes Lady Knights well, and it doesn't feel creepy or sexist.
Thank you. I think
that's because of me.
Yes. But also we have 3 grown daughters.
Yes.
And to me, it doesn't
father to daughters.
Doesn't matter to me whether a character is male or female, as long as they're an interesting character.
Yes.
You know, I remember being at years ago, being at a book signing, and I remember someone asking me, they picked up Sword of the Crown, and they said, is the hero in this a male or a female, or a man or a woman, I think was the actual term. And my thought was, I didn't say this, of course, I just told him the answer, but my thought in my head was, does it matter?
Well, some people
and it just be an interesting, I suppose. Some people have a preference, but to me, it doesn't matter. I've always just liked interesting characters. You know, one of my favorite sci-fi series is the Honor Harrington series.
Yeah, that's very good.
Which is a nice, that's by David Weber.
All right, I'm going to stop you. D-Rock wants to know, how many different series do you have, and then they all in the same world timeline?
So all of them are in the same world. the biggest time span for a series
Yes.
is actually Power Ascending.
This one.
Yes, because it goes back farther in time when it begins.
Yes.
That
must have been hard to write.
Not really, because until you get further ahead in Heir to the Crown, there's no crossover.
So the last 2 books were difficult. I know this because I edited them.
Yes. Well, because
Yeah.
you're ending 2 characters'
Yes.
stories.
Yeah.
So you want to, as an author, you want to make sure you wrap stuff up. And you know, when I finished The Frozen Flame, I wrapped up most of the stories, but there are a few threads that were left unfinished, and that was
Which some people didn't like.
some people didn't like that, but I had to do that because it's setting up another series, which I'll be starting this year.
You're going to be starting that in about 3 months.
Yes.
What series is that?
That will be, it's called The Duality of Magic.
Is that what we decided? Because we didn't know whether Duality of Magic or The Duality of Magic. What do
Oh,
you
well,
think? Please let us know.
yeah, let us know what sounds better, Duality of Magic or The Duality of Magic.
Yeah, because we have The Frozen Flame, but we have Power Ascending.
Yes, well, it wouldn't be The Power Ascending, that would be...
That's on. But back to 3 series. We had a question. He has 3 series,
Yep.
Power Ascending, Frozen Flame, and Heir of the Crown, all in the same world.
Yes.
All right.
And there is if you read all 3 series, there are some subtle links between them. Actually,
not so subtle sometimes.
Well, sometimes not so subtle, especially when you get to like the end of Heir to the Crown.
But do they have to read all 3 series?
No, you can just read 1 series and it will be complete, and anything that comes from another series will be explained to you.
Yes, but it's more in depth. You get more if you read all 3 series.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah. Okay. Back to, and did I just get booted out? Yes, I just got booted out of TikTok. So
TikTok, has it been 15 minutes already?
It has been 15 minutes.
Look at that.
On the
Almost
dot.
on the dot, yeah.
Okay, you keep talking because I have to take us out of TikTok and put us back into TikTok. There we go.
Right. So as I was going to say, we talk a lot about The Frozen Flame, Power Ascending, and Heir to the Crown, which is the longest series. But I also have another shorter series called The Chronicles of Cyric. Now, these are shorter stories. Some of them are quite short, up to about a novella in length. And they are a murder mystery fantasy whodunit, featuring a character named Cyric. He is a Temple Knight of St. Matthew, which is a religious warrior society or organization. And he investigates all kinds of things on behalf of his church that he belongs to, the Church of the Saints, specifically his particular order. And he is a crossover character. That character of Cyric shows up in the
Hi, TikTok.
first book of the Frozen Flames, which is called Ashes.
Yes.
He also shows up by reputation in Power Ascending.
He does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, he's mentioned in Temple Knight.
He is the only character in all 4 series.
That is correct. He is.
Is he going to show up in all 6 series?
Oh, that's a good question.
It's because Paul's actually started another series. The book is written and I'm editing it right now.
Yeah, it's a cozy fantasy.
And what is that one,
called
Paul?
The Bucket List.
Okay. And what's the first book called?
And the first book is called A Drop in the Bucket.
And it's about?
It is about a sort of retired warrior. She's actually a goblin wolf rider. I mean, a goblin who is a wolf rider, not a rider of a goblin wolf. And she, through various circumstances, ends up running a rental store that rents equipment to adventurers called the Rusty Bucket.
Yes, yes.
And it's the bucket list because, well, it's the Rusty Bucket, and also, you know, the whole bucket list concept.
Well, all 6 of the main characters are towards the end of life, except for one.
Yeah.
Well, the elf isn't either.
No, that's true.
And neither's a dwarf, so really it isn't.
Well, the dwarf is older.
He is. He is.
So yeah, it's mostly the goblin that's sort of getting on in age.
Yes, I guess so.
Almost 20 years of age or whatever it was.
Okay.
Can't remember age off top. Or goblins don't live very long. And
so my apologies to TikTok people. I have you back. It is going to kick us out again at 8:30, just every 15 minutes. If I don't hit your question, redo it. Normally our helper is copying the questions down. We do know this is a known issue with TikTok using this restream software. There's nothing we can do about it. But thank you for your patience. It didn't do this in the beginning, but it seems to be doing it now. I'm going to go to Joe's question. Will you write sci-fi? Will you? He has started.
So I have a sci-fi series planned out to a certain extent, not in as much detail as my fantasy stories, but it's probably a couple years down the road before I get to that, because I have other fantasy stories I want to tell first. The bucket list is probably going to run 7 or 8 books. Those are not episode, or they're more like an episodic TV show, though you can read just any one you want in pretty much any order. Although I would advise you read the first one to get introduced to the characters. I also have The Duality of Magic, which is my next series. Heir to the Crown will be finished this spring with the release of Victory. The Frozen Flame and Power Ascending Force are both complete series as well. So yeah, for the foreseeable future, I've pretty much filled up my schedule with writing, but who knows?
All right, I've go. Okay, so Holy Q wants to know, where else do you broadcast? We broadcast on TikTok, YouTube, and Facebook.
Yes.
And if you want to see Paul, it's Paul J. Bennett Authors, his handle.
Yeah.
Okay. And Ollie wants to know, any tips for a first draft? I just hit 25,000 words and would love any tips while I work towards 80K.
So in terms of writing, one of the things that I've come to the conclusion of fairly recently, actually, is there's no right or wrong way to write. You have to find what works best for you. For me personally, it wasn't until I started doing detailed outlines that I really sort of managed to finish a story. I had a fantasy story that went or sci-fi story that went quite a few chapters, and then I just got to the point where I had no idea where it was going. Some people can write like that. We know people that can write like that.
It's not you, though.
No, it's not me. I've met people that just do a very basic outline and then make the rest up as they go. I think it's important to at least, even if you're writing as you go, you have to have some idea where you want to end up at the end. Otherwise, how are you going to know where you're going to go? Having said that, there's always the exception, right? So once again, you got to find what works for you.
Yeah.
The other thing is finding when can you be productive as a writer? When I was working full time, like a full-time job, I had to write on the evenings and weekends, right?
Oh, okay.
If you've got kids at home, you may have to, I don't know, get up a half hour earlier in the morning or something.
If you hear a ding, that's because somebody's gone to the website and downloaded one of Paul's books. So thank you, whoever did that.
An angel just got its wings.
An angel just got its wings.
Say on that on the movies, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, go back. You were talking about consistency and picking a time when you can write.
Right. So some people have really busy lives. So if you can be consistent in sitting down, even if it's like the kids go to bed at, I don't know, 9 o'clock or something, and you from 9 to 9:30, that's your time to write. But you have to pick a time that you're productive.
Now, here's an interesting thought. If you only wrote for 5 to 10 minutes a day and you got 100 words a day, you would have 35,000 words by the end of the year. And in 2 years, you'd almost have a complete book.
Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it. I couldn't do that math that quick, but sure.
Well, there's 365 days in a year. So
I know you can do the numbers. I'm not even going to attempt to do the numbers, but yeah.
I've got some questions for you
here.
So everybody's saying, we've got Miath says the duality. 12 Decipherable says they like the duality. Joe says the duality of magic feels more like a statement. Happy Button says the name makes it feels specific and unique, especially if starting a new series. And then, Hamaz switched from TikTok to Facebook.
Oh, well, there you go. See, that's a good way to do it.
Yeah. And Decipher says, you definitely helped me see the major benefits of outline. I've adapted it to my style. Decipher, have you looked into the snowflake method? I need to know that. I'm going to go to Ollie. Says, thank you, because Ollie was the one who asked about writing. I definitely think I would benefit from a more detailed outline. So can I explain the snowflake method?
Sure.
So Paul does a method of outlining that's very similar to the snowflake method. It's just something we found online. And it takes the kernel of the thought of your story, and slowly you plan out where the story's going in a more organic way. It's almost like a mini first draft. You just build it bigger and bigger. So it is kind of writing by the seat of the pants, but you're putting the detail in before you sit down to write the prose.
Right.
So look into that. I think you'll both will find it quite helpful, and you don't have to do it that way. Paul doesn't do it that exact way. I have to put my feet here, they get sore. He does something similar.
So I like to think of the outline is, let's say I was describing a movie to you. I wouldn't give you all the actual speeches. But if I was describing Star Wars, I might say, like, there's this big ship going through space and it's attacking another ship that it's following. That would be part of the outline, right?
Yes.
And then later on, I would get into more detail as I'm actually writing the prose. I would describe, what does this ship look like? How massive it is compared to the smaller one it's chasing, and so on. Just to use Star Wars as an example.
What are some things that you struggle with writing? I mean, I know as an editor I could mention, but what do you feel that you struggle with writing?
I think it changes from book to book. Some books just fly off, like when I wrote A Drop in the Bucket.
Oh, it was
I
so
just
fast.
flew through that
Yeah.
because I knew the characters already. I'd already
Yeah.
had a very clear concept of what the characters were like. I think one of the hardest things to deal with, especially in epic fantasy, is when you're dealing with different things happening in different places all at the same time. You got to make sure that, like,
There's a movie like that,
how
isn't
long
there?
does it take to everything everywhere all at once?
Thank you.
How long does it take to travel from here to there? You get, there's a, and I'll pick on Game of Thrones, not the book, the TV
Yeah.
show. And I, don't get me wrong, I enjoyed the series, but there's a scene where they're up in the north and they're being
Dragon
attacked by the
arrives?
White Walkers, and the dragons suddenly arrive.
Yeah.
Well, the dragons would have had to fly across the entire continent in one night. That's a major faux pas, but that was not in the books, by the way. They'd already gone beyond.
And would something like that happen in your book?
No, because you wouldn't let me do.
That's right, because I edit his books, and that is probably one of my biggest beefs. Is I'll say, okay, you say this happens in spring, and then this happens in spring, but like, there's a lot of time goes, well, spring could be 3 months long. I said, no, not when the flowers are coming up
Yeah,
and things like that.
So I actually, in Victory of the Crown,
I haven't read that one yet.
I was literally just this week writing, and I've got the same sort of thing where I have to explain how this is happening so fast. There is a reason for it.
Yes.
But I don't want to give the plot away.
Okay.
But it's all explained, and it's got rather a unique take on things.
Spoilers. Okay, I have a bunch of questions.
Yeah.
Kiko says, hello, I'm a big fan. I actually want to start writing. Do you have any tips about how not to get burned out?
How not to get burned out? I think to begin with, you treat your writing as a hobby. You're not doing it. I don't know what your circumstances are. I mean, if you have a regular job, or if you're just at home, I have no idea how old you are, or maybe you're living with your parents. I have no idea. If you're employed, obviously the job has to come first. You got to pay bills.
Yes, you have to eat.
You got to find a time that you can write in.
But how do they not burn out? So don't worry about the circumstances.
Right. So,
because you've experienced burnout.
Sure. Sometimes you have to take a break. For me, it helps to have multiple irons in the fire, I think is the expression I'm looking for.
Yes.
So if I can't, like on Victory of the Crown, let's say I'm stuck on a chapter and I just can't figure it out or it's just not working, I can go and I can just work on outlining for a completely different book.
So
or come up with new
somebody
ideas.
who's only writing that one book and they're at a chapter and that chapter isn't working. You've had this happen. You're in
Right.
that book. What did you do?
So you just go to another chapter.
Yep.
You literally, you can go into your document. You have to remember that you've done this. This is the important thing. And you could put in something happens and then this is the result, right? With the intention, like bolded or colored or something, so that you can go back to it later and you just skip to a later. And this is where outlining really helps.
Yes.
Because you can skip ahead and you can go, okay, so that's all past,
And you can go back to it.
Yeah, it's kind of like, oh, you just ran across the big monster. Boom, now we're in the next chapter. You're sitting in an inn. You got to figure out how you defeat the monster later on or
yes.
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's
Ruminate
another
on that.
trick that you can use as well.
Oh, our friend from Australia, Kyrim, is here.
Ah,
say hi to Kyrim Oakenfest.
Well,
Hi,
love the
Kyrim.
name. That sounds like a dwarf.
Yeah, he sends us stuff on socials all the time. Okay, so now I have a whole bunch more questions. Tofu says, a Canadian writer found. They said a fire Canadian writer found, but I'm not quite sure what that means. But maybe a fine Canadian writer found? Okay. Yes, he's Canadian.
Yes.
We brought him here from the UK. I'm
an import. But my kids are made with, they're Canadian made with British parts.
Yes. PG. It's Read with Colin. Would like to know, what book should I start with?
So we get this question a lot. It's really more a case of how do you want to dive into the world of Eiddenwerthe?
Okay, you say it.
Heir to the Crown is a gentle introduction. It's a very more medieval than magic to begin with.
Magic doesn't happen until the healer comes about 1/3 of the way through.
Yeah. So that's a sort of a gentle way in. If you're already fine with fantasy and you really like magic and stuff, you want to start with Ashes, which is the first book in the Frozen Flame. It's about two mages that are out there in the world. I won't tell you why because I don't want to spoil the beginning. But they come together, and the whole point of the series is that together they are more powerful than they are individually.
Yes.
And that becomes very apparent later on in the series as well. And then last series, if you really like more of the military stuff with lots of fights and warring and stuff, warring, not whoring.
Wow, your PG
going into battle
today, isn't it?
You want the Power Ascending series. Now, Power Ascending, I have a unique take on that because every odd-numbered book follows a female temple knight, and every even-numbered book follows a fellow who is going up through the ranks of the nobility. But there's interaction between them. Okay. They know each other, actually, and then that's all I'm going to say without giving away spoilers. So
a little bit quicker answers here. Well, Joe wants to know, will the text on the hardcovers be bigger? I noticed the text on the paperbacks is quite small. So it's interesting you say that. When we first did these, I'm going to answer this one.
Sure.
So I don't really see it. That's right. Yes, they are small. When we first did it, the cost of the paperback is directly represented by the number of pages in it. So we made the text smaller to save you money. Maybe not our best decision, but once you start a 15-book series, we don't want to change the formatting. That's one of our pet peeves. I'll leave this here. Is you buy these books and all of a sudden they're bigger, they're thicker, they're different. We've had that happen with some.
I mean, even the David Weber books, you can see they look different. Yeah. Right? They've gone from having his name in red to white to blue spine and red spine.
So we're waiting for Victory to come out, and then we're actually going to redo all the covers, and the books are going to probably be about 40% thicker, which unfortunately will mean they're about $3 more.
But a larger text.
There'll be larger text in them. And yes, the goal is to do hardcovers this year as well. And
not for necessarily every book this year, but we'll start the process.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard. You have to remember there's 36 books here, and I'm only one person, and I do all that. So plus I do the editing. Okay, so that answers Joe's question. Oh, sorry, TikTok, I lost you again. So the next question is
TikTok is broken again.
Hamza says, I generally hope that one day I'll be watching a film or a TV series and see the credit adapted from the novel by Paul J. Bennett. Keep writing. Your words feel made for it. Okay.
Thank you. I'd love to see that. That would be cool. It's interesting, you know, I look at TV shows and, you know, I've seen lots of fantasy on TV and I haven't necessarily read the book. You know, a good example is on Netflix had Shadow and Bone. And I haven't read the book. You read the book, I think, didn't you?
I started reading the Crow one.
Oh yeah, the something of crows.
Six of Crows?
6 of Crows or 7 of Crows, something like that.
6 of Crows.
But I really like the series. Now I understand, you know, series don't always have to match the book exactly. It's a different medium.
Hi, TikTok.
It's kind of hard in a TV show to get into the minds of individuals like you can in a book. So a book you sort of, you know, oh, this guy's thinking this. You can't necessarily do that on a TV show. It can be done occasionally, but it's difficult to do, especially when you have multiple points of view. So TikTok is back.
Yeah.
We're back.
Keep talking.
Typing away madly here. I can hear the tip tapping.
I know, it's my apologies for the spelling mistakes. It's really hard to lean over and do that. Okay. We'll go back to 12 Decipherable says, I will definitely check that out. I think that was the snowflake. I'm more or less discovery writing my outline, so I know I can have it locked in when I actually write.
Another thing you can do too is nothing says you can't go back and rewrite stuff too. So you know, you might write a story, a complete story, and it's only say 40,000 words, and then you might look at that and go, it's good the way it is, and publish it. Or you might look at that and go, maybe I could expand on this, make it bigger, fill in, make it a richer story as well. So that's an option as well. Don't get too caught up in word count.
No.
A story should be however number of words it needs to be to tell the story.
Yes.
Don't think just because, you know, you go to the bookstore and A Court of Thorn and Roses is this massive book that you have to match that, for example.
Also realize that book has very big fonts, very big gutters. So
or maybe you should explain gutters just for people in a book.
So when you look at a book, there's the trim size is how big the physical book is. And then inside there's the font, but it's also the space here and there. And you'll find some books, they look like they're very long books, but when you get in, they may have all the way to here with no print. And then they have all the way up here and all the way down here, and then only 20 lines. I think this has 35 lines.
Also, when you get to a certain thickness, you have to leave more space in the middle. Otherwise, the crease of the book hides the text.
That's what we found. We do have...
we do have large print books.
We do have large, but they're way over there. I'm not going to go. I'd be showing my butt to the camera, and I'm not doing that. But we do have large print, and so we have larger gutters, larger trim. Everything's bigger to make it easier for people with vision.
And of course, if you have an e-reader, you can make the font any size you like.
All right. More questions. Happy Button wants to know, do you use a 3-act method? I'm having a hard time figuring out how many acts I should use for my story. Good question.
So I write in 3 acts. I don't break the books down into 3 acts. Like it doesn't say act 1 and then a bunch of chapters. But that's the method I use when I'm creating my outline and the story itself. Act 1 is setting things up, generally speaking. Act 2, you're engaging. Act 3 is the crisis, the denouement, I believe we used to call it. You know, the happy resolution or whatever that comes at the end, or tie into the next book or whatever.
Yes.
So yes, I typically use a 3-act structure.
But he didn't do that when he started. It was something I think you started that maybe with Ashes? Or even later. I think it was maybe 3 or 4 years in. You didn't...
Well, so the Servant and Sword especially don't really fit a 3-act structure because the nature of the storyline. It's more a sort of Servant and Sword are both a chronological story of someone's early life.
Yes.
Well, more than early life in Gerald's case, but Beverly's most of her early life. So that's not really a 3-act storyline. But they still have that sort of resolution at the end. In the end of Sword, there's a moment of personal, what's the enlightenment, I guess you call
Yeah.
it. And of course, the second book ends with some fighting and cool stuff like that.
Okay. I'm going to ask the TikTok question. I will get to the Facebook and the YouTube questions, but TikTok, once they're gone, they're gone.
Yeah. So grab TikTok while
yeah.
we can.
Kiko wants to know what age, and there we go, are the mages in the Ashes series, are they a midlife crisis or are they in college?
They are, I believe I actually give them ages. They're 22 or 23. I think Natalia is a little bit older than Athgar.
Well, I know she's 18 when she goes through the ritual.
Yeah, that's when she becomes a member of the family.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it depends when you pick up the story, I guess, because by the time she leaves her place of
21,
training, she's 21, 22.
Yeah.
Which is when the real story picks up. So yeah, more
But they don't
college.
have college, but they do have an
Well,
academy. But
she's like at a college. He's not. He's just in a village.
he's just in a village. All right.
He's kind of a failed hunter.
Yeah, he's failed. He doesn't get killed. Okay. Happy Button, you were answering questions, and they mentioned that they have a full-time job, so they can only write at night or weekends, which is how Paul started.
Yep.
It all started actually because I started selling tea, and I was gone on weekends. I would go to events. It was direct selling, but I wasn't as comfortable going to people's homes and doing parties, but I love selling at events. So I took it that way, and I would be gone most weekends and a couple nights. So he wanted something to do.
And our kids are all grown up and they've moved out, so we didn't have
Except
to
for the
worry.
dogs.
Except for the dogs, yeah, we didn't have to worry about kids. So I had that time to put my creative
juices
to work.
Yeah. So you can do it. And Paul did both for 2.5 years. It was tough, but we knew it's what we wanted. So we both made huge sacrifices to make it happen.
Yeah.
All right. Matthew wants to know, have you read The Gates of Fire?
I have not.
Nope. And that 12 Decipherable says, yes, that's what they're going to do. They're going to write it the first time, then go back and edit it and take out things that don't work and don't fit, or expanded things that could use it. And
I do love being able to use a word processor, because you can take entire chunks, paragraphs, and rearrange them if you need to.
I like to delete entire chunks of what he writes.
Yeah. I actually today I wrote an entire scene, and then partway through I changed where I was going with it. So I had to go back and delete a chunk after the fact and then make sure that everything still worked.
So which book is it that we put in alternate beginning? Temple Night.
Oh yes, that's right.
Because you wrote the beginning and I didn't like it. So we put it in the back, and the beta readers said, "Oh,
the original beginning was kind of a tribute to the spaghetti western."
Yes, it definitely was. It didn't work.
Didn't quite work for the character.
Hamza wants to know, you might consider turning some key scenes into short AI narrated videos. They spread quickly, draw new readers who want to continue the story, and help you reach the audience in other countries. I've been looking at doing that. Just finding the time. But yes, I've been looking at doing using Adobe to do
what we really should be doing is using AI to figure out a way to clone you.
Yeah. No, thank you. That's just scary. Joe wants to know, what is the largest word count in your books? Which book has the most?
I can't tell you. I can tell you the word count on the first draft, because we don't really track it after that. The entire Power Ascending series averages on first draft 140,000 words.
Yes.
And I believe Warrior King was the longest.
Well, yes. No, I think Temple General is bigger. You have to understand,
excuse me.
This is interesting both for readers and writers. During the editing process, words are taken out that aren't necessary.
Yes.
And there are way more words in there than are necessary.
Yeah.
And you don't sometimes have to say, she felt the arrow go into the leg. Like, you don't always have to do that. She felt a piercing pain or something. So just changing things, and the mind writes Paul's mind sees it as a movie, so he's explaining it, and then I go in and I take out the unnecessary words. So 140,000 words usually ends up 130 to 135,000.
Yeah. But I think actually Victory of the Crown is probably going to be close to that.
Oh, really? That would be
well.
amazing.
I did end up adding a bunch of extra chapters, right? So
okay. Just a minute here. It takes me a while to look at a TikTok because I had to put in the notifier that in about 3 minutes we'll get kicked out of TikTok. Please rejoin us. So it does take me a little bit longer to look at the questions. Kiko says a huge fan of like Magic Academy books and stuff. I'm quite tempted to buy the full series. Be aware when we talk about an academy, it's only in Temple Night. It's only in Ashes. And then
it's not Harry Potter and
it's not Harry Potter at all. She leaves the academy because it's not a good place to be.
And she leaves it quite early in the book.
She leaves it quite early, but they come after her for the whole book series.
The whole series, yep.
But not in a good way. It's not a happy joy place to be.
Yeah.
So be aware of that. And then Holy Koran wants to know, what was your previous job?
So I like to say I'm on my third career. I've had lots of jobs when I was younger. My first real career was in the military. I became eventually a master corporal in the Air Force, Canadian Air Force, Royal Canadian Air Force, so it wasn't that at the time.
No, it wasn't.
My second career was as an IT instructor at a private college. Now I'm on my third career.
Yeah. Universal Sacred from Portugal says, hi. Are your books being translated into Portuguese?
Not at present.
Not at present. We have looked at some services that do it. But there are some reasons we haven't at this point. It is expensive. It can be upwards of $5,000 to translate each book. So if you do some quick math, at 36 books times $5,000 is close to $200,000.
The problem too, from our perspective, is we don't speak the language, so it's difficult for us to determine if it's a good job of translation or not.
And I mean, we can hire the translator. I mean, publishers do, but they have them on staff. We would have to hire a translator and then find people willing to read it. But again, that's a large cost. And as an
indie author, it's not cost effective at this point.
But it's something we would really like to do.
Yeah.
We've had people offer to do it for us, but again, with not speaking the language, I would hate to give someone a bad reading experience. I'd rather them not read it than have a bad reading experience. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. Just to let you know, if you're here with us on TikTok, more than likely you're going to get booted off in probably 2 minutes. Please rejoin. I'll get it started right away. Paul, what's your favorite book you've written?
All of them. That's like saying, what's your favorite child? You can't say that.
Which one do you remember the most fondly?
I kind of think, looking back, Servant of the Crown, of course, was my first book, but Sword of the Crown, I felt the story came to me more naturally because I'd had the experience of writing the first book.
Yes.
And I'd learned so much from doing that. The second book was my first real exploration of like, where could I take this storyline?
Okay.
But I mean, I've reread almost every book I have multiple times.
I think the series you've reread the least is this one.
Which one? Power
Ascending, because it's the longest.
Yeah, so I always have reread the book right before the one I'm working on.
You started that about halfway through.
Yeah, so, well, I mean, with Power Ascending, like, as soon as I got to Temple Captain, I reread Temple Knight, because that's the book that, it's not the immediate book before, but it's the one with the same character. So I kind of had to remind myself because I mean, I'd written other, 3 or 4 books in between.
Kiko wants to know, I still have it, how hard was it to find a publisher, or did you self-publish your books?
Our books themselves are
All?
self-published,
Yes.
but we are considered a hybrid publisher because we also have audiobooks,
Yes.
and the audiobooks are done by a professional publisher.
Yes. So we have 2 different publishers for your audiobooks.
Yes, the first few books of the Heir to the Crown series are done through Tantor.
Yes.
And the Frozen Flame, the entire series, was done through
Podium.
Podium.
Yeah.
Podium Audio, I think, is the actual
Podium
name.
Audio. Okay. My slime wants to know how often you go live and what time.
So we're at a new time starting this week. So for
Yes.
2026, we're aiming to go live at 8 o'clock every Thursday night. But
Eastern
also
Standard Time.
at the last, Eastern Standard Time.
Yes.
The last Thursday of every month, we'll also do a
And there goes
mid-afternoon episode for our friends around the world, so that if you're in a different time zone, you can get us. But we'll still do the evening one as well. At least we'll try it and we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
Unless we burn out or something.
Yes.
Let's-
Yep. So now, Paul, what's your favorite thing about the Frozen Flame series?
The Frozen Flame.
Hi, TikTok.
I had a lot of fun with the interaction between the 2 main characters. So you've got Athgar and Natalia, who are, in a sense, complete opposites to each other. Literally, one is a fire mage, the other one is a water mage. Theoretically, their powers should cancel each other out.
They should.
But I had fun developing their relationship as the story goes on. I should add, there's no real spice to this series. It's not a spicy romantic fantasy. But there is a relationship.
No spice.
Yeah, it's a fade to black kind of deal.
Yes.
But you see the relationship between the 2 characters grow over the course of the series. And I felt very good about the way that progressed. I think it worked quite well.
And it's interesting. So the relationship between Athgar and Natalia in the Frozen Flames, most people like it, but a few people said no people are ever like that. No people get along that well.
Yeah, sorry, we do.
I mean, we do have arguments, but at the end of the day, we're a team.
Yeah, and I think that was the point of the series, really, in a way that kind of mirrors our relationship. Obviously, we're not mages. Well,
No,
you're magic with all that
and
stuff.
you're magic with writing, so maybe we are mages.
That's right. I'm a word mage. Maybe that's it.
Oh, and I'm a math mage.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm a math
Math
mage.
whiz.
Yeah.
So yeah, and once again, the emphasis is really on their relationship, and I didn't write it to be a YA book. It's not meant to be a romantasy, as they like to call them. But there's romance in it because there is romance and relationships in real life.
And you don't like drama.
Yeah, I'm not big on that kind of drama. Some people like that stuff, which is fine. That's just not what I write. I write what I like to read.
Dave S., not brother-in-law Dave S., says that we're awesome, and also I'm a math magician.
A math magician.
Instead of mathematician.
Oh, that's good. That's a good one. I like that.
I'm the type of person, when we go out to dinner, I pay, and
Well, it's the same account.
it's the same bank account. We share a bank account, which apparently is strange, but we've always done that. But I like to pay because if it's like $43.27, I like to figure out in my head the tip. So $43.27 would be $50, and it would be $6.73.
Yeah, she likes to figure out those round.
That's not bad. How quickly my math.
Even though the machine gives you 15 or 18%.
No, I want a round number. It helps when I then do the taxes.
Yep.
That helps very much. Yes, so Joe asked, do you have any books with dragons? And yes, we do, Joe.
We do, but you have to get deep into the series before you get to it.
So dragons are mentioned, but dragons are big in book. I have to look, book 10.
Triumph of the Crown.
There's
Yes.
a dragon
There's
on
an
it.
epic fight at the end, like really.
And then someone becomes a dragon rider.
Yes.
A dwarf dragon rider.
Yeah, but I should point out that the dragon rider has a whole team of people.
Yes.
Like they have nets on the back of the dragons that other warriors hang on to. They
Yes.
tie it on with ropes so they don't fall. And they have
Yeah.
crossbow or arbalests, actually.
Yes. All right. Give me a second here just to see. I have to check everything just to make sure there's any questions. All right. I have all the questions. So
Okay.
do you have a question for me? You have a list.
How much time have we got?
We have 8 minutes, but we
Okay.
can go a little over.
Okay. So I do have a few questions, which we were actually going to get to last week, and then we got so busy answering questions,
Yes.
we never got to them.
If you're wondering, this is Hazel. She's our mascot puppy. Last week she sat on my lap. Today she's being pretty lazy. We walked her a lot today. She's a Basset Dachshund mix, and she's a big love bug, but today she's going to just lie down there.
So I wanted you to give us your thoughts, because a lot of people, they've written a book, they need to market it. What is the difference between marketing a book versus marketing a series?
Well, you start out the same. So when you write the book, you have to realize if you spend $1 marketing, that comes straight out of your profits. So you have to decide how much you're willing to spend of your profits to market that book. Now, when you have a series, you're not looking at just book one, you're looking at however many books. So you actually have a bigger budget. You can spend, if you have 10 books and each book earns you $4, you need to know how many people buy book one and then buy book two and buy book three. That is your read through, and it's your combined read through. So if of the people who buy book one, 50% buy book two, and of that 40% buy book three. What that means is, we'll say it's a 3-book series. Book one, we'll say, earns you 4. If 50% buy book two, that means book one now earns you $6 because it's half of the second book. And then the third book, if it's 40% of the people who bought book one, that's going to be $1.60. So when you sell book one, you're going to make $4, $2, $1.60, which is $7.60 by the people who buy book one. So that means you have a kitty of $7 that you could use to sell your books.
Yeah, so basically,
But then you'd make 60 cents. Which
on
is
a
not
longer series, you could actually lose money on the first book.
Yes, and
providing you're getting enough
that's
sales.
what we do. So we spend, if out of curiosity, to sell this book, which is free. I spend on average $3 to give this away to people. But remember the math I talked about? Once you get to book 14, so for every one of these, how many more of the others are we selling? So our read through value is about $20. So when we give away one of these books, we will make about $20. I know it sounds weird, but it's the read through.
Yeah.
And we use a program called Reader Links, which actually shows us our read through, which makes it a lot easier.
I was just going to ask
Yes.
how you would get that information.
Yes, Reader Links. There's another program out there too that does that. No,
you can also
Scribe Count. I used to use Reader Links. I use Scribe
right.
Count.
You can also get an idea by looking just at your sales numbers too, right?
No,
No?
I won't show you anything.
Okay.
It's all math. It's all math, but you can't do this because today's sales are not last week's sales, right? So if you release January 1st book one, and then you release May 1st book two, and then November 1st book three, the sales in January have nothing to do with the sales for that new series. It is a lot of math and analyzing. Now I've got a whole bunch of questions.
Sure. Fire questions.
Oh, so well, the thing is, because I've written into TikTok, it
Keeps duplicating entries.
Yeah. David S. said that's a good book, Triumph. I should reread it. Mark wants to know if I'm an author too. God, no. And I say it that way because I did in fact try to write a book and I didn't get past page 3.
Yeah.
Why was it? Do you remember?
So when you're an author, especially starting out, it's hard to take criticism.
I didn't have a problem with criticism, but who was the worst critic?
Yourself.
Yeah, I just kept rewriting the same sentence over and over.
Yeah, and I mean, I suffered from that in the beginning as well, right? Because it's different. You sort of see it in your head and you put it on the page and it just, it's funny actually. Starting out, my biggest fear going into writing a book was that I wouldn't be able to do dialogue.
That's what you do best.
And I mean, now it's just, dialogue's easy. As long as I know the character, dialogue is simple.
So it's funny. I have a program that'll tell me how much of Paul's book is dialogue, and it ranges from 60% to 75% of his books are dialogue.
Yeah, it's very high for.
It's very high, but he does that. So an author, you can show people what's happening, or you can tell them what's happening. Show is you describe the scene. The scene. Tell is like she walked into the room. You're just telling people. So dialogue is a way around that a little bit, and it moves the plot along.
Yep.
And so it works very well for Paul, and he writes it very well. So Joe wants to know, would you write a standalone novel?
If I had an idea for a standalone novel, I think the problem is I come from a background of running role-playing games, and my concepts are always too long for a single book.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I write longer series, to be honest.
He actually has a concept for a trilogy, and it was to be written a couple years ago.
Yeah.
It was based on a role-playing game we ran with our gaming group.
Which we never got to finish, unfortunately.
We never got to finish. One of our friends who was sort of the main character of it passed away. And so it got shelved just because it was a little too close to home, I think, at the time.
Yeah.
And now he will probably start it maybe next year. But I think those are going to be his longest books. They may be close to 200,000 words. You've got a lot going on there.
Yeah, yeah. We'll see.
We'll see.
That's a ways off. That would be a trilogy.
Just a trilogy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that would be his closest thing to a standalone book, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I recently came up with a concept of just having a one-off about a guy who's a Ragnarite.
You did?
Because I created that character.
Oh, in my game, yeah.
I thought, oh, this would make an interesting story.
I have to run that.
How he became
yes,
a Ragnarite. But anyway, that's
I digress.
Got too many other things on.
He has so many ideas. So many ideas. Decipherable said that dialogue became easier as I spent more time on each of my characters, which is good. If you don't have a good background of your character, you don't know how they're going to react.
Yeah, actually, for the bucket list, I actually went into a program you can get online called Hero Forge. You can actually use it for free.
And you put it in the newsletter.
And you can design your characters in 3D, and it's great. You can pose them, you can color them, you can, equip them with different things. And I actually did that.
Yeah.
I actually have a membership to Hero Forge, but you can actually design the figures. Because I'm a member, I can actually order the STL files and literally print them.
Maya said that they struggle with dialogue as well. Another thing to do with dialogue is to say it out loud. So our editing process is Paul writes the rough draft. He reads through it once, misses all the spelling mistakes because he doesn't see them.
Unless they show up in mine as being underlined.
Yeah, but he doesn't see them reading. That's not, he's more into the story. So he makes sure the story flows. When I'm editing it, I go through and do all the editing, and then I hand it back to him, and he reads it out loud. So it goes back to him ready for proofreading. But reading it out loud, sometimes he'll read dialogue and it has to be changed because what is written doesn't work to be said.
Right. Or it doesn't work for that character, the way it's phrased or something.
So a really good idea is to read your dialogue out loud. And if it's stilted or uncomfortable, you have to rewrite it.
And another technique, actually, some people have recommended is you can get text to speech. It's included in Word and various other programs. What are you doing?
Vicky says, I can't stop staring at your filthy, dirty socks, so I can't listen to anything you're talking about. My socks are brand new.
Yeah, but they're brown. Maybe that's why.
I was
just a light, I think.
Yeah, they're not dirty. They're brand new, Vicky. Brand new Christmas socks. I'm short, so you can't see it, but my feet don't hit the ground. So I can't sit like Paul does. So I usually lift them up here, but for you, I'll go cross-legged. There's that better. Now you can listen to us. Decipherable says, I have Hero Forge and have used it for project in school.
That's cool.
Hamaz wants to know, what did you use to write in your beginning, handwriting or pen and paper? He's never handwritten.
I've never
You
handwritten.
have.
Oh,
Like,
well, yeah,
maybe
that's
40 years ago when we first got
yeah.
married.
These books were all. I'm a really fast typist, so I type around 140 words a minute on a good day. I don't generally type quite that fast when I'm writing. I'm thinking about the scene, and then I write a bunch, and
That's
then
not true.
so it sort of bursts.
This week you've been hitting like 2,800 words
Well,
before
I've been
lunch.
averaging close to that. So, yeah, I try to get 3,000 words a day.
Yeah, but you've been writing most of those in the morning in 2 hours.
Yeah, because I got a lot of that. My most productive time is from 10 to 12.
Yes. Well, 10 to 1.
Well, yeah, okay, more like 10:30 or 11 to 1.
10 to 1.
Well, usually when I first sit down, I have to reread what I wrote
True.
yesterday
Yeah.
to remind me where I am in
Yes.
the story
Yeah.
and so on.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's my most
Just to
productive time.
pre-warn you, TikTok, you're gonna get booted out any moment now. I'm gonna prep for you. We're gonna go over by a couple minutes. So
Sure.
TikTok,
Wouldn't be the
please,
first time we've gone over.
please don't get upset when you're gone. TikTok, just join back in. I want to ask you another question because I was asking you what you liked about each series. What did you like about writing Power Ascending series?
Power Ascending, it's about two different characters and they have a very different experience. The character of Charlene is guided by her faith that she's going where she needs to be for the sake of, the people that are there. The other character, Ludwig, is sort of keeps getting thrown in the deep end of the pond.
Yeah.
So you first meet him, he's kind of arrogant and he's not the nicest person. And over the course of his first book, Warrior Knight, he begins to sort of learn values. He actually ends up with a band of mercenaries that sort of teach him about friendship and all this kind of stuff. And then in the next book he's in, Warrior Lord, he returns home to find out that in his absence his father has passed on and he's now the Baron.
Spoiler!
Oh, that's right in the outline for the book. That's like in the blurb.
I don't think it is.
So he's like thrown in the deep end.
That's in
and
book
he
2.
has to struggle. Book 3.
That's book 2.
That's book 3.
Book 2. He's a lord in book 2.
That's not book 2. That's look at the
book
series.
3.
Yes.
His book 2. His book
Yeah, his book
and there's TikTok gone. I was watching for it. Let's keep going.
Yeah. So, and then in the next book, he becomes a prince. He's already even in the earlier books, he's technically in line to the throne, but he's like way down on the list. And due to circumstances, he ends up becoming a prince. And then, of course, Warrior King, as you might guess, he becomes a king. And every time he's not really comfortable being in this position, but he accepts that this is his role and he kind of has to adapt to it.
Well, I'm going to put this.
So that was fun to write from that perspective.
What else did you like about this series, Power Ascending? Writing.
There's a relationship between Charlene and Ludwig. Their history is a romantic entanglement.
Yes.
But it just becomes a friendship. And that friendship really is what saves the petty kingdoms in the end. To a certain extent. It has a huge effect on the history of the world of Eiddenwerthe. And they sort of build that's what gives them their strength.
All right. So I want to thank everybody for coming tonight and say that we actually sell all these books online at Paul's website. I brought this here. If you buy one of his books, signed copy, you want to hang on to that?
Sure.
And make it look pretty. You get some freebies with it. You get a dice bag / pencil case. We have maps, and it's geared to the book, so it changes by the series. We have bookmarks, and each one is for each series. We have recipes from the books themselves.
That actually work?
Yep. Yes, they're good. We have a pencil, and then we have a coaster, and then if you buy more than 2 books, we have for holding the book open. Show them how it works.
So this is a page holder. You put that on your thumb. I guess I got that one upside down.
Oh.
And then you can hold a book like so.
I don't know whether they can see that way.
I don't know. Can you see that?
There, now they can see
There
that.
you
Yeah.
go.
And then if you buy a book, we have some things called creature cards. And these are creatures. And if you go to Paul's website, you'll see the creatures there, but we made little cards. So if you buy a book and there's a creature in that book, we'll send you one of our creature cards. And there's some other things I'm not going to show you because
Surprises.
Surprises. So that's what happens if you buy one of his books signed. Also, he's signed
And that
it.
is at pauljbennetauthor.com.
Which will then take you to the store.
The website also has a link to the lore of Eiddenwerthe with information on, well, it's got maps, it's got a bestiary, all kinds of stuff.
Now, Miancito, that's how you pronounce her name.
Who, Charlene?
Charlene?
Charlene.
I guess so. I don't know. Now, how did we come up with the name Charlene?
I think you actually came up with it. So originally the character, when I came up with the concept, was called Margaret. This was years ago in a role-playing game.
Yes.
But I'd already used Margaret for a character in Heir to the Crown, and I needed another name. We spitballed the idea. She came up with Charlene. To me, it reminded me of Charlemagne.
Yeah.
Did you
know somebody says that they know somebody named Charlene? So it's a real
interesting.
name.
Yeah. But I mean, we didn't pick it from a list.
No, I thought that I knew it.
Came up with it.
Oh, it'd be interesting to know how my thought it was supposed to be pronounced.
Well, I guess you could say Charlene.
Charlene. Oh,
like
yeah.
Charlie.
Like Charo.
Or Charo, yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting when we get the books ready for audio, Paul has to go through and pick out all the words that we think would be pronounced differently.
And do a pronunciation guide.
And does a pronunciation guide. But what's funny is in the Heir to the Crown series, one character's named Evelyn, which is how we say it in Canada. But how did the
Evelyn, the Greg Patmore, who did the narration,
fantastic narrator,
he pronounced it Evelyn, which is how they say it in England. It didn't occur to me that it would be pronounced
which is
that way.
funny.
So I didn't put that in the pronunciation guide. So every book we did after the fact, I don't mind it being pronounced either way. I mean, pronounce it any way you feel it works. If you want to call Charlene Charlene, go ahead.
Interesting. That's how they read it, but they like our way better.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. If you have any other questions, put them in now because we're going to end the stream in about 3 minutes.
Yep.
Paul, what's your favorite thing about writing?
Working with you. We sit side by side.
Yeah.
Pretty close to this distance, actually.
No,
our tables run.
No, it's this far apart because
yes, that's right.
to lie between us. Actually, but I have 3 monitors set up, and Paul used to only have 1 monitor, and I kept saying, "You want 2? You want 2?" He says, "I don't need 2. I don't need 2."
Get a second monitor. Yeah.
He has 2, and he loves having 2 monitors.
I think 3 would be a little too many.
You can't have 3 because I need the desk.
The room's not big enough for.
So my desk is we have tabletop desks, and my desk is 5 feet wide and his is 4, and my 3rd monitor encroaches on his space.
He actually wants another monitor.
Oh, my ass says that they also thought of Charlemagne.
Charlemagne, yeah.
Yeah, but they're saying that that's what they thought of when they saw.
Yeah, that's why I think it works so well.
Yeah.
Even though she's not a king, a ruler, she's just a leader of a religious group of warriors. But it works because Charlemagne was a warrior king. So.
Do you want to thank everybody for coming?
Yes. Thank you, everyone, for being here. And I'll remind you again that we'll be here again next Thursday at 8 p.m. from 8 till 9. Well, 8 till 9-ish.
Yes.
Probably
We try to start a couple minutes early. We've gotten better. We haven't had technical difficulties for a while, except for TikTok kicking us out.
Yep. We usually set up the camera about 5 minutes beforehand. So sometimes we're live just a couple of minutes before. But we like to, not get into the real topic of conversation until 8 o'clock. So 8 till 9 Eastern Standard Time. Did you say holy something?
Holy Q has one quick question.
Okay.
Having trouble naming towns, places, and countries, what do you advise? The internet.
Yeah. So go to the internet, Google the phrase fantasy village name generator or fantasy country name generator.
Fantasy name generator.
Website. You'll see a whole bunch of them listed when you Google it, and try a couple. Like I Sometimes I'll go into one and I just can't find a name that works for me, so I'll grab another one. Sometimes I go through 2 or 3 before I find something suitable.
Well, did you hear that ding? That somebody's gone to the website and picked up one of your
Picked up
books.
a book.
Thank you so much. When you buy the books from us, we get all the money. It doesn't get shared with Amazon. Just to be aware, when we're selling it through retailers, we lose a fair chunk of cash.
Yep.
And it's nice to have money to feed the puppies. Thank you so much.
Hazel thanks you, but she's
Yeah.
fast asleep. So
Yeah, she's fast asleep. This 12 disciples. It's getting late.
12 disciples.
No, decipherable.
Oh, decipherables.
It
Yes.
says thank you for the live streams, and my app says thank you for the live streams. Thank you, everyone. I'm going to end this.